Welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right in. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating, yet honestly completely overlooked topic: the intense relationship between the extreme environment of an airplane cabin and our body's nutritional needs. Now, if you travel a lot, or really even just occasionally, you already know flying takes a huge toll on you. But today, we're going to look at exactly why that happens at a biological level, and more importantly, how you can use nutrition to fight back. So let's tackle this question right out of the gate. We all know that familiar travel fatigue, right? The brain fog, the bloating, the sheer exhaustion when you finally step off the plane. It's super easy to just blame it on a bad, cramped seat or crying babies. But the truth is, your body is actively fighting off physiological stress the entire time. Consider this explainer your vital survival toolkit to combat those hidden stressors. Section 1: The Hidden Toll of Flying. When you're up there cruising at 35,000 feet, commercial cabins are actually pressurized to simulate an altitude of about 1,800 to 2,400 meters above sea level, so you're essentially sitting on top of a small mountain. This artificially high altitude creates a state of mild hypoxia, which basically means there's less oxygen available for your body than there is down at ground level. Because of this, your cardiovascular system has to work so much harder just to maintain baseline functions. And this drop in oxygen, it triggers a whole cascade of physical reactions. It increases physiological stress, drives up fatigue, causes headaches, and fundamentally shifts your metabolic responses for the entire duration of your flight. Section 2: Cabin Pressure and Your Debt. Because of that lower oxygen availability we just talked about, your body is working overtime. To support oxygen transport and energy production, you suddenly require some very specific nutrients. Iron is an absolute superstar here because it's a critical component of hemoglobin, which carries oxygen throughout your body to your tissues and your brain. So leaning into iron-rich foods before you fly, think lean meat, fish, and legumes, alongside B-complex vitamins for energy metabolism, can actually help sustain your mental and physical performance while you're trapped in the air. Now, one of the most uncomfortable realities of flying is basic physics happening right inside your gut. As cabin pressure drops, the gases inside your stomach and intestines literally expand. The environment outside your body changes, but the volume of gas trapped inside you grows. It's like a balloon inflating. This is exactly why you should definitely avoid large, heavy meals, carbonated drinks, and gas-producing foods like beans, cabbage, and onions, both before and during your flight. Eating smaller, balanced meals is a ridiculously simple but incredibly effective way to reduce that mid-flight bloating and stomach distress. Section 3: Surviving the Sky-High Desert. Get this. A typical aircraft cabin hovers around a super meager 10 to 20% relative humidity. That is substantially lower than most normal indoor environments. You're basically sitting in a sky-high desert. This bone-dry air massively accelerates water loss through just your regular breathing and evaporation right off your skin. It is the primary culprit driving the headaches, the dry mouth, the dizziness, and that impaired cognition you always feel mid-flight. Even mild dehydration significantly drops your alertness, hampers your immune response, and just straight up ruins your overall mood. Knowing this, hydration becomes your absolute most critical mission. But here's the trick. You cannot rely solely on being thirsty as an indicator to drink. By the time you actually feel parched, you're already way behind. You have to hydrate continuously. Water is your best friend here, but you can also actively eat your hydration through high-water foods like fruits, soups, and yogurt. Plus, those provide slow-releasing energy, which is a nice bonus. Just as importantly, you have got to avoid fluids that worsen dehydration. I know a pre-flight cocktail is tempting, but alcohol and excessive caffeine are diuretics. They contribute to fluid loss and will only compound those severe drying effects of the cabin. Moving on to Section 4: Nutrition's Role in Jet Lag. Jet lag isn't just a state of mind or you feeling a little sleepy, it is a profound circadian rhythm disorder. When your normal meal and sleep schedules get disrupted by rapidly crossing time zones, it severely alters your hormonal patterns. It totally messes with your glucose metabolism and your natural hunger regulation. Honestly, this completely explains why jet-lagged travelers suddenly crave energy-dense, highly processed foods packed with sugar and saturated fats. Your body is desperately seeking quick energy to counteract the confusion. But those sugary airport snacks ultimately offer very limited nutritional value and just leave you crashing way harder later on. But here's the good news. Strategic meal timing is an incredibly powerful tool to conquer jet lag. You can actively use food to reset your biological clock to your destination's time zone. Say it's daytime where you're landing and you need alertness. You're going to want to focus on lean proteins and complex carbohydrates. But if it's evening and you need to transition into sleep, target foods containing tryptophan, like turkey, milk, and nuts, or grab natural melatonin sources like cherries, oats, and bananas. Aligning these specific nutrients with the local time of your destination can significantly reduce how bad your jet lag symptoms get. Section 5. The Science of Airplane Food. This is totally wild to me, but flying literally changes how your food tastes. The low cabin pressure and extreme lack of humidity actually numb our sweet and salty taste perception. It physically alters how your taste buds and olfactory receptors function up there. Foods that taste perfectly seasoned on the ground will seem totally bland in the air. To compensate this, airlines are practically forced to rely heavily on enhanced seasonings, robust herbs, spices, and umami-rich ingredients. Think things like tomatoes and mushrooms, just to make the meals palatable at altitude. Umami is actually one of the few taste profiles completely unaffected by the drop in pressure. But beyond just making the food taste good, the absolute paramount concern for airline catering is safety. Meals have to maintain their quality through preparation, cold storage, transportation, and reheating on board. Stringent hygiene and precise temperature control are absolutely essential here. Why? Because an outbreak of food poisoning midair among hundreds of passengers or the flight crew wouldn't just be an inconvenience, it would have disastrous cascading consequences in such a highly confined environment. Section 6. Your Flight Survival Guide. Okay, so consider this your definitive flight protocol. Step 1. Beat the sky-high desert by hydrating constantly. Bring an empty reusable bottle through security and fill it up before you even board. Step 2. Combat gas expansion and bloating by eating small, frequent, balanced meals rather than one heavy feast. Step 3. Keep moving. Stretching and simple seated exercises improve blood flow and dramatically reduce the risk of deep vein thrombosis. And finally, Step 4. Beat jet lag by immediately aligning your sleep and meal schedules and your nutrient types with your destination time zone as soon as you sit down in your seat. Ultimately, nutrition plays a totally crucial role in supporting your health, performance, and overall well-being during air travel. The aircraft environment literally forces your body to deal with hypoxia, dehydration, and severe circadian disruption all at once. But understanding this physiological interaction between aviation environments and human nutrition, that's the key. By making intentional choices before and during your trip, you're empowering yourself to thrive, maintain your cognitive function, and protect your immune system, rather than just merely surviving the flight. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time you're staring down a huge sodium-packed fast food meal at the terminal or deciding whether to order that extra glass of wine in flight, just remember the massive physiological battle your body is about to fight. You have the knowledge now. So, will your dietary strategies optimize your next adventure or hold you back? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and safe travels.